Welcome to this 14th session of Ola. We'll start with a prayer from Yajurveda because today's lecture is on Yajurveda and Samaveda. Om Namaste Astu Vishveshwaraya Trambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagnikalaya Kalagnirudraya Neelakanthaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Hari Om. We have already done Rigveda, the structural pattern, the deities. So now let us see what's there in Yajurveda and Samaveda. Yajurveda is basically Yajusham Vedaha Yajurvedaha. Yajus is derived from the root Yaj, that is the sacrifice, and Veda is from the root Vida, as we already know. So Yajusham Veda is the Veda, the knowledge, which is regarding the sacrificial formulae. So Yajush becomes a sacrificial formula. Yajurveda has 100 different branches, says Patanjali in his Mahabhashya, Ekashatam Adhvaryavam. And this has been given by Vyasamuni to his Shishya Vaishampayana. I had told, I think, previously that the 4 Vedas are given by Vyasa to 4 different Shishyas. So Rigveda was given to Paila Rishi, Yajurveda was given to Vaishampayana, Samaveda was given to Jaimini, and Atharva Veda was given to the sage Sumantu. This is the Veda regarding the sacrifices, the formula. There are 2 main divisions of the Yajurveda, the Shukla Yajurveda and the Krishna Yajurveda. Basically, it is a Taittiriya Samhita, and this Vyasa, Vaishampayana, Vyasa from Vyasa to Vaishampayana, and from Vaishampayana it came to Yajnavalkya, and then there were some differences of opinion, and therefore, Vaishampayana said, "Give me back my Veda," and therefore he just vomited that. Okay, and when he vomited that, there came some birds, Tittira birds, we call them Tittira birds. They came and picked up, that knowledge bit by bit, and therefore that Samhita is known as Taittiriya Samhita. Later, Yajnavalkya got a Sakshatkara, a Drishtanta from Bhagavan Surya Narayana himself, and therefore he got a revised sort of edition, which is the Shukla Yajurveda, which is called Vajasaneyi Samhita. So Shukla Yajurveda, Vajasaneyi Samhita, it's the revised version, you can say. The older version is Taittiriya. Of course, there is Katha, Kapisthala, and Maitrayani. These are the different branches in that. In the Vajasaneyi Samhita, which is very, very popular throughout India, there are 40 chapters, but 18 out of these 40 they form Shatapatha Brahmana. And Shatapatha Brahmana mainly deals with, as I said, Yajurveda deals with the sacrifices, the rituals, the ishtis, the yagas. And therefore, the main sacrifices dealt with are Darsha Purnamasa, Agnihotra, Soma Yajna, Vajapeya, Ashwamedha, Sautramani, Pitru Yajna, and so on and so forth. And the last chapter of Vajasaneyi Samhita, the 40th chapter, is popularly known as Ishavasyopanishad. So here we have the Veda, Yajurveda, and then it's Brahmana, then the Aranyaka, and then the Upanishad as well. In fact, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, that also belongs to Yajurveda. It has both Aranyaka part as well as Upanishad part. Then this is the various literature, the list of literature of Yajurveda. Brahmana Grantha main is Shatapatha, 100 parts. 100 parts are there. So Shatapatha. Aranyaka is Brihadaranyaka. Upanishads of Yajurveda are Isha, Katha, Taittiriya, Brihadaranyaka, Maitrayani, and Shvetashvatara. Then Sutra Granthas are of Vajasaneyi Samhita, Katyayana Shrauta Sutra, and Shulba Sutra, Katyayana Shulba Sutra also. From Taittiriya Samhita, we have Apastamba, Shulba Sutra, Dharma Sutra, Satyashadha, Baudhayana, Vaikhanasa. Vaikhanasa is a name, Vikanas means Brahma, and therefore Vaikhanasa is a branch which comes out from Brahmadeva. And then Vadhula and Bharadwaja. Paraspara Grihya Sutra is very famous in the Grihya Sutra tradition. And then Manava Grihya Sutra. And then the Mahavakya of this Yajurveda is Aham Brahmasmi. Traditionally, the four Vedas have four Mahavakyas. So of Yajurveda, the Mahavakya is Aham Brahmasmi from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In Yajurveda, we have a typical terminology which is referred, time and again in every yajna. There is a typical terminology which is used. We can say these are some technical terms, paribhashika, samjnaha. So for example, there are three types of agnis which are always referred to in every sacrifice: ahavaniya, dakshina and garhapatya. And they are placed in the Yajnashala in the eastern direction, Dakshina in the southern direction, and Garhapatya in the western direction. Then Vedi, you come across the term Vedi quite often, which is a fire altar. Barihi, that's a sacred grass which is spread. Then Juhu, Upabhrudruva, these are the various ladles, the chamasa to pour ghee into the sacrificial fire. Then Sarpihi Ajyam Ghritam is the Ghrita, the clarified butter, which is given as an oblation, as an offering. And Ritasya Yonihi, the entire yajna, the sacrifice as such, is called Ritasya Yonihi. Yoni is the birthplace, the origin of Rita. Friends, we have already seen what Rita means. Rita is the cosmic order. So from yajna originates everything. So that is the concept behind this yajna. Yajna is not just a personal thing which every grihastha does in the household. It becomes a social institution as such, involving so many people of different vocations and professions. Yajna, it is celebrated together as a festival. Yajamana and his wife are equally important as the priests are there. Three main things are highlighted in any yajna: dravya, devata and tyaga. Yajna is an offering, right? You offer something in the fire. When you offer, it gets burnt. But the belief is that the fire is Havyavahana and he carries these oblations to the gods. He is the carrier, he is the messenger. But when you offer it from your side, you forsake the belonging, to that particular object, and therefore it is tyaga. And therefore, the popular paraphrasing of yajna is devatam uddishya kritaha dravya tyagaha nama yagaha. So that's a simple definition of tyaga which is involved in every yajna. So yajna is a sacrifice, balidanam, samarpanam, there are so many words. Sacrifice is too inadequate a word in English to have the better connotation, to the fullest connotation of the word yajna, okay? And this has basically, as I said, tyaga as the main component, and therefore this is something like in the Manasa Puja we say, yadyat karma karomi tattattakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. And anything which is given to somebody with a feeling, idam na mama. This doesn't belong to me anymore. I have given it, I have forsaken it, so it doesn't belong to me anymore. I always used to tell, in a very joking, in a lighter vein, it's always customary, I think, in cities that we give our worn out, much worn saris or clothes to our maid servants, but when that maid wears it, and then we say, oh, this is the sari I gave you last year, then that is not a giving, because that mamatva is still there. So idam na mama, that should be the feeling when you give out anything. It is giving out and not just lending with your copyright or patenting on it, right? So idam na mama, that is very, very important in any yajna. Yajna has its own various dimensions as such. It is the very soul of the Vedas. The entire Vedic literature is ritualistic, and therefore Sayanacharya, whenever he comments on any Vedic suktas, he will try to find out first, and as it goes a custom that whenever you are reading any Vedic text, you have to know, especially in the Rig Veda, who is the Rishi, who is the Devata, what is the Chanda, and what is the Viniyoga, when that particular sukta is recited. And Sayana will always come up with some sacrifice, some ritual, some karma, where this particular sukta has some significance to be recited as such. So there are so many, like I said, so many dimensions are there. One of the dimensions is geometry, because you have to construct a Yajna Vedi, a fire altar. And whenever you are constructing, especially a square one, then you need to know the geometry, because you need to know the diagonal out of it. And therefore I was telling you last time that, the Pythagorean principle, that this is the triangle, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square, that is long back told in Katyayana Shilpa Sutra and Baudhayana Shilpa Sutra, because that is the requirement. Shilpa is a thread, a cord, because there were no measuring tapes as such. So Shilpa was used, sutra, Shilpa is a sutra. So that was used to measure out. And Shilpa Sutra are the sutras. Sutra here doesn't mean a thread. Sutra means a type of literature, as we have the Vyakarana Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra, the Mimamsa Sutra, the Yoga Sutra, like. So Shilpa Sutra. And some other words which are used are Sruk, Sruva, Juhu, Kalpa Sutra, Shilpa Sutra. These are the various technical terms, with which Yajurveda is rich. There is a Chaturasra Vedi. Vedic seers had a formula to build the square I was telling you. And besides this Chaturasra Vedi, sometimes some Vedis are half circular, some are circular, some are in the form of a flying bird, which is called Shena Chiti. Chiti is an altar, fire altar, and Shena is a hawk or Suparna, Garuda. So it's a flying bird. And especially in the Soma sacrifices like Atiratra and all, we have the Shena Chiti built. We'll come across that in further slides. Yeah. Now this is a very, very important, what I can say, a line diagram, and I'm indebted to Seema for doing this. It may not be per scale perhaps, because when I was trying to find out, I wanted to show you all how a Yajna Shala looked like. Okay, and I prayed to Google Swami. As usual, Google Swami gave me a picture. It was so faint. Even I couldn't see it. How could you see it from so far? And therefore I was worried, how will I show the entire Yajna Shala to you all, and what are the different components, how big, how ritual, how elaborate the Yajna was. And therefore she drew it herself, and there are so many components here, some 15 components are there. First is Prachina Vansha. Prachina Vansha is the typical Yajna Shala thing. Then there is a Sadas. This is the Sadas. Prachina Vansha is this particular thing comprising of all the 3 fire altars. Okay. Then there is Sadas. Then third is Havirdhana Mandapa. This is the Havirdhana Mandapa. In fact, I didn't tell her to draw Havirdhana Shakata. There is a Shakata also, a cart-like thing, and on that the Soma Valli is brought, Havirdhana Shakata. There are so many things to be drawn here. And then there is a Patni Shala, the seat of the Patni, which is here. Then fifth is Agnidriya fire. Besides these 3 fires, there is Agnidriya and here is Marjaliya fire. Okay. Then we come to the 3 main fires which are referred to, Garhapatya, Dakshina and Ahavaniya. So this is the Garhapatya, this is the Dakshina, this is the Ahavaniya, this is the Vedi. This is the Vedi. These diagrams you can find in Mahamahopadhyaya P.V. Kane. Pandurang Vaman Kane's History of Dharma Shastra book as well. Okay. And this is the Vedi. Then there comes the Uttara Vedi. There is the Uttara Vedi, number 11, here, Uttara Vedi is here. Then number 12 is this Utkara. Number 13 is the Chatwala. Chatwala is a Chatwala Utkara. Utkara is basically the West material. So whatever, like while we are doing any puja in the house, for example, take for example Satyanarayana Puja or Ganesha Puja or something, and first you do Kalasha Puja, there is some Nirmalya. To put that Nirmalya, you have some vessel and you put it in that. So these are the two pits in which you put all the remaining avashishta thing. And whatever, after the yajna is over, whatever remains from the yajna dravya, that is not to be reused. That is also put in the Utkara. Okay. So Utkara and Chatwala. Then there is Yupa, the Pashubandha, the Nirudha Pashubandha and etc. The Soma sacrifices. Pashu is tied to the Udumbara Yupa. Yupa is a log of wood. And then 15th is the Udumbara post. Udumbara post here. Okay, so this is how the Yajna Shala looked like. So many components are there. So complex the things are. And this would always face, this is the Shena Chiti. For the greater and the detailed description, the next slide I have for these. Okay. Now this is the Ahavaniya, this is the Vedi, this is the Dakshinagni, and this is the Garhapatya, the round one. This is the semicircle like D, Dakshina, D for Dakshina. Okay. And then the Chaturasra Vedi, Ahavaniya, in which all the offerings were done. And then this is the Shena Chiti. The north is up, so this is east. This is east. The bird is facing the east. Okay. So this is as if the gateway to the heaven. This is as if the gateway to the heaven. Now, in this Shena Chiti, there are 5 layers. I will give you the 3D picture in the next slide. There are 12 days. This is a 12-day yajna like Atiratra and all. And recently in Kerala, there are references that in January 2020, there was an Atiratra yajna. In February 2020, there was a yajna in Vijayawada. So some yajnas are like, performed even now. And almost 1005 bricks are used. And the detailing, the measurement of the brick is also given. The length, breadth, the height, everything. So amazing technology is there. And see how many people are involved in yajna. As I said, yajna is a social institution. So many people with different vocations, they come together to celebrate it as a festival. And this typical Shena Chiti and the Atiratra and such sacrifices are done with some motive, some desire in the mind. These are called Kamya Yajnas. As against that, there are certain yajnas which are Nitya Yajnas, like Nitya Agnihotra. You have to do it no matter what. Okay, Nitya Agnihotra, you have to do it in the morning and the evening. But these are the Kamya Yajnas, and done for what? Material happiness, health, wealth, sons, heaven. Heaven is the main. Heaven is the main. And this bird is taking you to the heavenly world. Like a bird, it will fly. This is the 3D picture I wanted to show you. See, there are 5 layers here. I don't know whether you can see that, but this is the height which has the 5 layers in it. Okay? And the first, third and the fifth, there are certain gods which are invoked. While building up that Vedi also, there is certain ritual for that. And here in between, there is the offering made. I always think, this is like, this looks like a plane, an aeroplane, and this is the fuel which ignites and it goes up in the sky. And what is this? Nowadays, people don't believe those researchers who do research based only on the literary works, literary documents as such. They want archaeological evidences because they say archaeology never lies, as if the texts lie. Huh? So here is the archaeological evidence, and this is dated 1st century, but we claim this Atiratra and this type of Shenachiti at least 5,000 years from now. So such an old parampara. And if you want to see the dummy of all these, there is a place in Pune near Swargate, Vaidik Samshodhan Mandal. I had referred to earlier also in the Rigveda lecture. So please visit after lockdown, of course, and you can see there the dummy of Shenachiti and the Chaturastra Vedi, how many bricks, the measures, all the dummies, erected there, along with the Yajna Yudhani, all these wooden, ayudhas, everything is there. So this is the archaeological evidence. See, there is also some height to this, okay. So these are the 5 layers, and here they found the ash also. And from the ash, the carbon dating, they said it is 1st century. It was found in Purola in Uttarkashi. Okay, so we are not lying. Whatever literature is telling us, archaeology has endorsed it. Okay. Now Agni Manthana, we saw, from the Yajnashala, from the broader to the specific we are coming now. Agni, actually, how this Agni is kindled. The various ancient methods of kindling Agni. First, friction of 2 stones. Then, woods, the sticks of the wood. What we do here in the Yajna is also this. This is called the Adhara Arani, and this is called the Shanku. This is made of Ashwatha, this is made of Shami. And for that there is a story, friends. The story comes somewhere later, okay? But there is a story. The story doesn't come in the Yajurveda, but it does come. There is a story of Pururava and Urvashi. Everybody knows the story of Pururava Urvashi. Like in Shatapatha Brahmana, we have the story of Pururava Urvashi. On the basis of that, Kalidasa has written Vikramorvashiyam, a very famous drama. Now Pururava married Urvashi and wanted to become one with Urvashi, go to Gandharva Loka. So he went to Gandharva Loka, and the Gandharvas gave him a fire pan. In a pan, there was fire inside, okay? And they gave him that, but the condition was he should not keep it down on the earth. While he was coming down, he kept it for a while on the ground, and the upper lid became Ashwatha, the lower, the vessel, the lid of the pan, it turned into Ashwatha tree, and the lower, the vessel as such, it turned into Shami tree, and the fire got disappeared. Fire was vanished. Where did the fire go? The fire went in both these trees. And therefore, while doing the friction, you have to take the twigs of these 2 trees because there is fire within that. The reference to that is found even in Shakuntala. Okay? Antarnihita Tej or Antarnihita Agni, Yatha Shamehe. As Agni is, like in a dormant state in the Shami, similarly. So like that, these references are found later on also in our classical literature. So this is the Agni Manthana thing, and there is this cord with which like we are churning, the curd to make a buttermilk and take out a navanita, the butter. Similarly, this is churning for fire. This is churning for fire, and this is done here by Yajamana and Yajamana Patni. Yajamana and Yajamana Patni both do it. See, this is the thing. In the lower Arani, there is a hole here, okay? And this lower part of the Shanku is placed there with the cord. You churn it from both the sides. With friction, the smoke is coming out, okay? This requires so much of physical strength. Here we come to know, you must be remembering there was a lecture on Vedic Agni, his epithets and attributes. And I told you that Agni is called Sahasaha Sunuhu, son of strength. Here we really come to know How much strength is required to churn? It's not making a buttermilk. Not as easy as that. You require tremendous strength to churn out Agni from. It is not just, lit a matchstick and get the fire, or lighter and get the fire. It's not that easy. Even in Greek mythology, we have Prometheus bringing fire from heaven. So fire was not an easily accessible dravya, accessible element, and you had to acquire it with great efforts. Okay. So here is a small video I would like to show you. Next slide. And then this becomes the yajna, okay, the fire. But how this fire is really created. One more thing I told here. This also, 10 fingers are his mother's, I will tell you in the video. And he is called Apam Napat. One of the epithets of fire was Apam Napat. And I told you, he is the grandson of waters. Why grandson of waters? And what is the child of waters? Vanaspati. And Agni is there in the Vanaspati, in the trees. And therefore, child's child, so grandchild. Apam Napat. Napat, Nati. Pota, Natu in Marathi. Okay. So, Apam Napat. Okay. Now, we'll see a small video. This was a yajna done in Maharashtra. See how they are churning. It requires great strength to push it down. Somebody has to hold that arani, and one person has to do that. See the smoke coming out. Okay. And then whatever that ash is, here there is ash because that gets burned, the wood also gets burned. That ash is placed in the cotton. Before that, see, this is how, like a small child. Agni is fondled like a small child. And therefore, he is called as the son of 10 fingers. Both hands, both hands, they are fondling that Agni as a child. Okay. And then they place it on the cotton. Cotton will burn, inflammable very quickly. And they will just, blow it, not with that pipe or something. No direct blowing, through hand. Because he is Agni Narayana, the god. All these feelings are there, and in any traditional yajna or homa, fire is produced in this manner only. In fact, in Mumbai, we had been to Ganga Khed once to see this yajna, and we had shown our children also, our students, how the yajna, how this Agni is, churned. The fire is churned by the friction. And then the cow dung, there are cow dung cakes here, you can see cow dung cakes. So some powder of that cow dung cakes he puts on that cotton, okay. Again the smoke started coming. He will blow it through the hand, not direct blow. And then the fire will be generated. So this entire process of generating fire isn't it an adventurous activity? No wonder he is called Sahasaha Sunuhu. We'll just wait for a minute. It's only 2-minute video. So Sahasaha Sunuhu is the epithet, and he is the son of 10 fingers because he is being lalayita, That is for blowing only. See, fire. Now the fire has come. So generating ritual fire is not an easy task. And then that fire would be placed in the Vedi. Okay, so such a long, complicated process it is. I was telling you about the 5 layers. The first layer represents the earth, the third layer represents the air, and the 5th represents the earth. The second and the fourth are in between, and therefore between earth and air there is water, like that. So Bhuhu, Bhuvaha and Swaha, Prajapati, Agni, these are the 2 deities for the first layer. Vishwakarma and Vayu are the 2 deities for the third layer, and Parameshthi and Surya are the deities for the last, for the 5th layer. So this is Agni Chayana, it is called. Chayana from root chi, to pile up, to compile, to gather. So it is piling up, layer after layer above the layer. So that is Agni Chayana. Yajurveda and social sciences, because as I said, Yajurveda is a very a social institution. So many professionals come together to make it a success. So many social sciences dimension we can find in this. During the Ashwamedha, the Yajamana listens to the Itihas and Puranas, and it is called as Pariplava Akhyana. So there is Itihas and Purana narrative literature, being what you can enriched in that and added, supplemented during the sacrificial arena. Then stories of ancient kings are narrated in Shatapatha Brahmana. We have the references. Yajurveda especially refers to, because Yajurveda, the highest deity is Rudra. As in the Rigveda, the highest deity is Indra and Agni. Yajurveda, Agni is there because it is sacrifice. But the deity as such is Rudra and not Indra. And there are Stenanam Pataye Namaha and this Namaha, and in Namaka and Chamaka, you all must be aware of. So many tribes and their customs. Shatapatha Brahmana mentions the Rakshasas, the Matsyas, the Sarpas, Asuras, Nishadas, so many communities are there. Vajasane Samhita, 30th chapter, especially mentions various vocations and professions like Lohakara, Kumbhakara, the blacksmith, the potter, the fowler, the cowherd, shepherd, washerman, astrologers, in addition to singers, dancers, actors, sculptors, etc., etc. And all these words would be like Swaha, Swadha, Vaushat, Phat. This is the contribution of Yajurveda. What is the contribution of Yajurveda? These are the mystic syllables which are used even now. And Rudra, the subordinate deity of the Rigveda, attains the highest importance in Yajurveda. The 16th chapter, especially from social science background, I feel it's very, very important because it refers to so many types of water. 16th chapter of Yajurveda. This is Katya, the deep water, Nipya, the shallow water, Sarasya is the pond water, Nadya, Nadi Jala, then Vaishanta is lake water, Kupya, Kupa and Vapi are two different things. Kupa is a small periphery, small circumference, but a deeper one, whereas Vapi is a broad one with steps, okay, like a step well. And then Vaidyutya, Meghya, water in the cloud. So various types of waters, and this knowledge will be very beneficial for any agricultural or horticultural activity as such. So this is very important. Then we come to Samaveda. Okay, after Yajurveda we come to Samaveda. This was given by Vyasa to Jaimini. We know now Rigveda, Vyasa to Paila, Yajurveda, Vyasa to Vaishampayana, Samaveda, Vyasa to Jaimini, and Atharvaveda, Vyasa to Sumantu. Saman. Now what is the meaning of Saman? Saman is a melody, a soothing note. Like we have in the Kautilya Arthashastra or any of the Smritis, we use it in the usual dialogue also, Vyavaharika Bhasha, like Samadana Bheda Danda. Sama is pacificatory. No? So, some soothing words, some treaty, some negotiation to pacify, to please somebody, that is Sama. Okay. So, you can compare that Sama also with this pacification. Saman is basically a soothing note. Two main sections are there, Purvarchika and Uttararchika. It is the shortest of the Vedas. Of the four Vedas, Sama Veda is the shortest, 1549 or somewhere, like the number varies sometimes. Because in Purvarchika there are some 585 like stutis, and Uttararchika there are some 1200 plus stutis, So it comes to 1600, by simple calculation as well. Most of these mantras, 90% of the Samaveda is nothing but Rigveda. But then why do you have another name for it? The mantras may be the same, but they are not recited, they are sung. And therefore, there lies the difference. Secondly, in the Purvarchika and Uttararchika, we have various, the varieties, the categories. Purvarchika has Grama Geya Gana and Aranya Geya Gana. And the Uttararchika, the later praise. Purva is the earlier, Uttara is the later. Archa is the puja, worship, adore, okay. So Uttararchika has Uhagana and Uihagana, and basically the devatas are Indra, Agni and Soma. Agni, Indra and Soma, these are the devatas. Not like Ashwins and Ratri and Usha, these devatas like Rigveda we don't find in Samaveda. The etymology now. As we saw Yajurveda as Yajusham Vedaha, Samaveda is Samnam Vedaha, Samavedaha. Now the question comes, what is the meaning of Saman? So Sama Santvane is the root. Santvana, again, to pacify, to console, to soothe, okay. So Sama Santvane, that is one root. Another root, Sho Antakarmani. Sho is the root. Antakarmani. Syanti, Khandayanti Dukkhani. Iti Samanaha. Okay. Swami Dayananda, Arya Samaji, he defines, or he rather etymologizes this word, Saman, from Sho Antakarmani. Antakarma, to end, okay, to destroy. So what does Saman destroy? It destroys your sorrows. It makes you happy. And therefore, Syanti Khandayanti Dukkhani iti. Samnam Vedaha is Samavedaha. In that, Sa is one word and Ama is another word. The Nirukti can be done in different ways, okay. One is Samnam Vedaha, Shaha Antakarmani, then Sama Santvane. Then you split it. Yaskacharya has given you the liberty. Akshara Samanyena va Nirbruyat, Natveva na Nirbruyat. Even if you can find some etymology from a syllabic portion of a word, go ahead, split it in different fragments and try to have the derivative meaning. So Sa is Stri Tattva and Ama is Purusha Tattva. So this is more or less yin and yang, Stri Tattva and Purusha Tattva coming together. So that is Samaveda. In Chandogya, there is a vachana. Vachaha Rugrasaha. Of the speech. What is the essence of a speech? That is Ruch. Okay? Rik Rasaha. Ruchaha Samarasaha. What is the rasa, the essence of the rich? That is Saman. And what is the essence of the Saman? That is Udgita. That is Omkara, Pranava. In Samaveda, for the first time, you have very much importance given to Omkara. And on the basis of this, we have the Chandogya Upanishad, which is associated, which is linked with Samaveda, which has Udgita Vidya or Pranava Vidya. Okay. And Vedanam Samavedosmi. In the Vibhuti Yoga, when Bhagavan tells in every genre, in every species, who am I? Like Masanam Margashirshoham, Rutunam Kusumakaraha. Similarly, he says, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Aksharanam Akarosmi. Vedanam Samavedosmi. So that is the importance of Samaveda. And it mainly deals not, Rigveda we saw is the praises of the deities. Yajurveda we saw is the sacrifices offered to the deities. What is the essential part of Samaveda? It is Dhyana, Bhakti, Chintana, Manana and not Yajna. So it takes you inward. From external to inner world, that journey, and that is facilitated by Samaveda. Therefore, Samaveda is important, though the content is 90% Rigveda. The treatment to the content differs. It is internalization, more or less. And therefore, Bhakti, Dhyana, Chintana, Manana, that is the essence of that. As Ekashatam Adhvaryavam we saw, there were 100 branches of Yajurveda. Adhvaryu, by the way, is the priest of Yajurveda. Like we have for the Rigveda, it is Hota. For Yajurveda, it is Adhvaryu. For Samaveda, it is Udgata. And for Atharva Veda, it is Brahma. I had told you this in the Rigveda lecture also. Now this Samaveda is Sahasravartma. It had 1,000 branches. Yajurveda stopped at 100. Samaveda has 1,000 branches. How can we say that there were 1,000 branches? If you know the texture of Samaveda, you go back to the Purvarchika and the Uttararchika, there is Gramageya Gana, Aranyageya Gana, Uhagana, Uyagana. These 4 varieties are the primary varieties. In Gramageya, as it is very evident, I always like on the practical basis, I explain it like this. We have custom to sing songs during marriage, during naming ceremony, during Upanayana, during this, that, all our sanskaras involve singing. You go from place to place, village to village and state to state, the songs differ. Don't they make 1,000 songs? Gramageya Gana? There are. So, because, see, every village there will be a different song sung for the same type of ceremony, same type of ritual, and therefore the number goes on multiplying. So, Sahasravartma Samaveda, because there are various types of singing, various songs is one thing, and the same song sung differently is another thing. Okay, so the content differs and the manner in which it is sung, the same song also, it differs. So maybe the same bhajan could be sung in the Hindustani style and a Carnatic style. 2 different. So it's a variety, right? So there are many branches like Kauthuma. Kauthuma is basically Kausuma from Kusuma. Kusuma, flower. And Purvarchika, Prapathaka, this is, and the other branches are, this is just the what you can say, technological, structural division of Samaveda. The Ranayaniya branch, Jaiminiya, these are the main branches of Samaveda. Samavede santi sahasra Geeti upayaha, and therefore it is called Sahasravartma. Geeti upayaha, as I said, the second variety, the manner in which you sing, that gives you the multiplication. So Kauthuma, Jaimini and Ranayani are the branches, but the other which are extinct, but which only the names are known to us, are Khalvala, Pranjala, Vartantaveya, Asurayaniya, Langala, Bhallavi, Gautamiya. These are only the names available. Maybe someday somebody would find some manuscript of Bhallaviya. We don't know. Like Ranayaniya, there would be Asurayaniya Shakha, and we can find it. Now here comes the number 1810. Last time we saw some 1500 or 1600. So the number varies according to the Gayas. So Sa, again the second meaning of Sa is Prithvi Tattva. Sa is Stri Tattva we saw, and Ama is a Purusha Tattva. So here it is extended now still further. Sa is Ruch, Sa is Prithvi, Sa is Patni, and Ama correspondingly, if this is Ruch, this is Swaralapa. If this is Prithvi, this is Dyuloka. If this is Patni, Ama is Pati. So Stri and Purusha Tattva are further elaborated in this manner. The Nambudris in Kerala especially, I inserted this because we are in Kerala, and Nambudri families, they belong to the Jaiminiya branch of Samaveda. And therefore in Kerala even now, I referred to that Agni Manthana, that was a sacrifice, and I said that Atiratra was performed in January 2020. Even now the Nambudri Brahmins, they perform such sacrifices in like a great congregation and like a festival. And without Saman, no yajna can be complete. Na asama yajnaha asti. Sacrifice is incomplete without Samaveda. Samaveda is generally known as the yoni, the origin of musicology as such, music as a science. So what is the connection of Samaveda and music? In fact, the Upaveda of Samaveda is Gandharva Veda or Sangeeta Veda. Okay, Gandharva, by the way, it is from the root Gai, Gayanti or Gayanam Dharayanti iti Gandharva, Ga, Dha, Dharva, etymology, right? So Saman based on 7 notes and 4 types of Samans I told you already. Hum is a sound which is uttered, before every Saman. Hakara is very, very important in Samaveda. As we saw, Swaha, Swadha, Vashat, Fat, etc. are typically used in Yajurveda, Yajush. Similarly, Hum, Ha, Ho, Ha, U are used in Samaveda. I will have one small video of Samagana because it's not very common. Omkara is important, I told you. Most Samans are in Gayatri and Jagati meters. These are the Chandas. Gayatri, the famous Gayatri, Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, 24 letters. Then Samans were sung in tune with Veena, and therefore there were many types of Veenas invented for Samagayana. They are Kanda Veena, Alabu Veena. Alabu is a pumpkin. Kanda is like a log of Kanda. Kande, Kande, Agnihi, Kanda. Okay. Then Shurpa Veena. Shurpa is basically winnowing basket. You know. So maybe the shape is like that. Shurpa Veena. Vakra Veena, little bit, twisted one. Then Gatra Veena. Gatra Veena is striking fingers of hand. Striking with your fingers, it is like Veena. I remember in Panchatantra there is a story. I am not going to tell you the story, by the way, but in that story there is a reference that Ravana did a very severe tapas to please Shankara, and that time his entire body got emaciated because of his very severity of his tapas, of his penance. He was, he shed off all his mouse, only twach, and all the bones were visible. And the Shivanama, Om Namah Shivaya, was as if, as the wind blows from the bamboo forest and there is a sound created, similarly that Om Namah Shivaya, that japa, created that sound of his gatra, and that could be a gatra veena. The bones acted as bamboos. They are hollow from within. So, they acted as bamboos. So, that is just a reference, I mean. Then there is a vana similar to vanaha. It is similar to veena, but it's a bigger one. It has shatatantuhu, 100 strings. It's a stringed instrument, tantuvadya, okay. It has shatatantuhu bhavati, and these are the notes, I mean. So, this is Samaveda. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, there are 7 notes in Samaveda. But the Samaveda doesn't start with Sa. It starts with Makara, Madhyama. Then Gandhara, Rishabha, Shadja, Daivata. Nishada is the lowest of the lower, and therefore it is called Atiswara. Daivata is Mandra. Okay. And then Panchama, 7th is Panchama. So, that is the division of the swaras according to the Samaveda. Now, we will have a short video. You get the Hakara distinctly. That was Yajamana Patni there, Yajamana, and one who takes up singing, he holds something like that danda, in his hand, and when he is done with his singing, he passes on to the next person, and the next person starts it. When I saw this, I was reminded of some mushaira, of ghazals and all. Of course, I have seen it in films, Hindi films, and they keep a shama, a lamp burning in front of the person who is presenting his shairi, and then he places it to the next person and he performs. That's the mushaira thing. So, something indicative of who is going, that's like a mic. So, this was the Samaveda, and this was done, this is done in, I told you, February 2020, and this was sacrifice performed in Vijayawada, Andhra, And then what I was telling you, this was Aranya Gana. This was Aranya Geya Gana. Okay, the varieties. Of course, I am not a person who is who can comment more on music and all, so better restrain myself. Then the literature of the Samaveda, Kauthuma, Latyayana Shrauta Sutra, Gobila Griya Sutra. Perhaps you might have heard these names somewhere, and therefore I am trying to link, the names with the particular Vedic Samhita. So Draihayana Shrauta Sutra, Khadira Griya Sutra belong to Ranayaniya Shakha. Then Jaiminiya Shrauta, Jaiminiya Griya belong to Jaiminiya, of course, the name. Tandya Mahabrahmana, which is otherwise known as Panchavimsha Brahmana, Shadvimsha Brahmana, Jaiminiya, Shatyayana, these are the Brahmana literature. Veda is the Samhita. Okay. Every Samhita will have its Brahmanas, its Aranyakas, its Upanishads, its Sutras. Okay. So this is when I speak of literature of a particular Veda, that is the literature coming in that line. So Samaveda will have this Brahmana, this Aranyaka, this Upanishad, like that. Okay. And Chandogya and Kena are the main Upanishads. Chandogya, if you take out from Shankara Bhashya especially, Chandogya and Brihadaranyaka, these two oldest Upanishads Shankaracharya uses profusely in his Brahma Sutra, Shariraka Bhashya. And the Mahavakya of this is Tattvamasi. Okay, Aham Brahmasmi we saw, Prajnanam Brahma is Rigveda, and Ayamatma Brahma will be Atharva Veda. So many Vidyas in the Chandogya Upanishad, especially Chandogya. Kena Upanishad has a beautiful story, but the time won't allow me to tell you the story. It is a story of Uma Haimavati and how the Paravidya came in the form of Uma Haimavati, and there is a good story. When we come to Upanishad, maybe I'll tell you a few stories from the Upanishads. So there are so many Vidyas in the Chandogya, like Udgita Vidya I was telling you, that is Pranava, Udgita is Pranava, Pranavatmakam Brahma. Then Shandilya Vidya. Shandilya Vidya, it is stated, it is given by the Shandilya Rishi, and here he has given one, like what you can say, an acronym, Tajjalan. Tajjalan, what is the meaning of Tajjalan? Tasmat Jayate, Tasmin Liyate, Tena Aniti Praniti Shwasititi. So this has a reference to the Taittiriya, Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yasmin prayanti abhisamvishanti, tad vijidnyasasva, tad brahma. So Tajjalan becomes a small form, and that is indicative of Janmadhyasyataha. The entire world was derived from it, originated from him. It is sustained by him, H capital, and it ultimately dissolves in him. Know that to be Brahman. So such small word but very profound, very lofty. So that is Shandilya Vidya. Then Aditya Vidya, Akasha is at the root of all creation. Then Madhu Vidya, Brahman is the honey. A knower strives for it. Brahman is as if honey, and we all are the honey seekers, and we strive for it. Samvarga Vidya, Samvarga is Pralaya. So Vayur Vahava Samvargaha, Prano Vahava Samvargaha, that is the Samvarga Vidya. Panchagni Vidya, this is again a very, very, what you can say, cryptic type of Vidya. Little bit of mystical because it deals with the eschatology, the life after death, Utkramana Shastra, after death what happens and all that. And there are 5 questions asked by Shweta, this Aruni to Jaivali, again some story. And then Dahara Vidya, Brahmapure Daharam Pundarikam Veshma. And all these Vidyas, why I picked up some Vidyas, because as I said right now, if you remove Chandogya Upanishad quotations from Shariraka Bhashya, the volume will be cut just to a handful of pages, So much importance is there, because all the sutras which Badarayana has written, like in the Akashadhikarana or Pranadhikarana, all these are based on the Chandogya Upanishad, and that is the importance of Chandogya. So all philosophical Vidyas, separate Ola classes, Ola class will be needed, especially for Chandogya. So we'll see later. And I take this opportunity, because I have been reaching out to a few of you who are not here, who are from abroad as well, and from different places like Sri Lanka, New Jersey. People are watching this from Delhi, Ahmedabad, Baroda, they are watching. So I would just like to tell you about what are the courses, what are the programs offered here, because this is the time, when the exams will get over and your wards, your grandchildren or your neighbor's children, your friends' children, they would be seeking for a good institution to join. So here is Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth having UG programs BCom, BBA, BA Applied Psychology, BA Sanskrit, BA B.Ed with English Literature and BSc B.Ed with Maths. These are the UG programs. LLM, we have LLM in International Trade as well as Legal Theory, and ours is the only course I can boast in India which emphasizes the Indic law, Indic theory, legal theory. Then MSc Applied Psychology, MA Public Policy and Governance, very few programs, very few institutions run this program. MA Sanskrit and MA Music, it will be run in our off-campus Pune, Chinmay Vibhuti. Then we have Shastri and Acharya integrated masters in Advaita Vedanta as well as Vyakarana. It's a 5-year integrated program plus PhD. So these are the contact numbers here. So you can just note it down, or when you get the link, please copy the link, please share the link so that Chinmaya University reaches more and more people. We also have Vidya Laksha Nidhi scheme. So you can become a Vidya Mitra and be associated with CVV forever for your entire life by paying 1 lakh per year for 5 years, or US dollar it is $1,500 per year. So these are the programs, and many people were asking me nowadays, nothing is given free and why are you giving, and you are preparing these PPTs with so much effort and all that. So why don't you keep it as a paid lecture series? I said I don't want to charge anything for registration. Registration is free even now, but people have been asking me, and therefore there is just a slide. If it's a voluntary thing, your registration will not be cancelled even if you don't donate. But then if you make a donation for Ola, I promise, and CVV promises you, that all these proceeds will go towards Sanskrit development and IKS, which is the very breadth of Chinmaya University. And I think with this I'll stop. If you have any questions, do write or send email, and see you again next time. So till then, stay safe, be safe, don't step out, okay? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Hari Om.